We're at Talton International Raceway for the first race of the RFS 400, round one of the Donaldson Cross Country Championship. It's a new year and a brand new sponsor.
It's very exciting. I mean, Donaldson have come on board. They're on board for the next 3 years. They're very active. They're the best interests of the sport. You know, every conversation that you have with Rob Simpson, the CEO, is, you know, what's good for the sport and where we're going to go with the sport. So it really, really is good. It's been a partnership that I've absolutely loved from the start of it. You know, we've got guys like Force Fuel that have come on from a fuel supply point of view, which just makes our championship that much safer. Logistically, it makes it easier, and then it helps from a financial point of view from our competitors. So yeah, it looks very exciting. You know, a new series or new category side-by-side class to be launched in 2014 that we're busy working with now. So yeah, some really exciting times. You know, lots of work still required because you keep growing, you keep building, more resources, more money. But you know, the good news is that we are growing and we have a lot of interest and some nice things ahead of us. Our Celebrity Challenge has been very, very successful, and this year, you know, to give an idea that our whole year has already been booked up. You know, we have the likes of Heinz Winkler at this event, we've got Roxy Lowe at the second event, we've still got John T, we've got Barry Hilton towards the end of the year, we've got Jack Parrow in Bloemfontein. I mean, these are just the kind of celebrities that have come on board to a point where we've got a waiting list. You know, we've booked for the year now. With the others, we're having to push over to the next year. So that, in conjunction with local radio stations, national radio stations, and some other marketing initiatives, will really help to take our sport to the people.
Let's have a look at what went down near Magaliesburg. First up, the special production vehicles. Lance Woolridge and Ward Huxtable had a great prologue and started from pole, but just behind them was Christian Dupont and Henk Janssen van Vieren. The Ford Racing range of Woolridge and Huxtable got off to a good start, but they did have their problems. Most notably here, when the pair missed a left turn as they gave away their lead. The BMW X3 was quick to pounce, and the race suddenly had a new leader. A position that looked unlikely during the prologue when the pair's second fuel pump died. The BMW and the Ford were locked in a tight battle at the top with defending champions Duncan Foss and Rob Howie. And confusion reigned at one point when all three cars lost their bearings. The BMW came out on top, however, and retook the lead and led the Ford by 4 seconds after the first 160-kilometer loop. But it all counted for nothing, as Duploy and Van Vieren hit a rock and damaged the BMW's rear suspension, ending their race in the process. The other Ford Racing range of Chris Visser and Jampie Badenhorst were well in contention, despite dealing with a constant misfire. Malcolm Koch and Johan Berger of Koch & Sons Toyota put in a superb performance, considering it was their first race since Toyota 1000 Desert Race last year. After enduring a terrible prologue, the team from Atlas Copco Toyota, Berthold and Rousseau, recovered well to finish in 4th position. Anthony Taylor and Dennis Murphy suffered 2 punctures along the way, while Loda Brain and Rian Whaling took things slow in their Rubicon Racing Ford. Jan van Staden and Mike Lawrenson from Atlas Copco Toyota admitted to being too slow to compete, but they did manage a credible 7th place. Behind them, Yanni Visser and Jox LaRue from Toyota, who, like many others, experienced 2 flats along the way. One of those was the Castrol Toyota Hilux of Foss and Howie. Last year's champs suffered endless problems, picking up a puncture while also breaking a side shaft, ruining their chances of a podium finish. Dion Fenter and Ian Palmer from Trisom Racing broke their diff bracket but still managed to squeeze into the top 10. And despite breaking their front drive shaft in the prologue, Graham and Trevor Leaf persevered. The celeb team of former SA champ Archie Rutherford and the country's first ever Idols winner Heinz Winkler impressed in their Nissan Navara, while another Nissan, that of Michael Whitehouse and Matthew Carlson, came in 14th place, despite experiencing a number of hassles along the way. It was the same for Gerald LaRue and Rian Gulper, whose brakes went AWOL. The Fantonda siblings experienced a very tough day out on the track and failed to collect any points for their efforts. As for the teams from Regent Racing, wasn't the greatest of days.
We broke the front left shock and the oil's going everywhere, and the oil's ending up in the exhaust. We nearly caused a fire, so it's one shock is completely gone. So if we carry on, we'll just destroy the other one as well.
We hit a rock and destroyed the area up, so then we tried to repair it, but it probably took us 2 hours or something, and now it's maybe too late for the second loop. So now we are only in back-wheel drive. So we disappear now and go back to the pits.
In contrast, it was a sensational day for Woolridge and Huxtable, who took their new Ford Racing Ranger to a fairy tale debut win.
Oh, fantastic. It really is a dream result. It just goes to show it is a team effort. It's been 18 months of hard work to get these cars on the start line, and a better day we couldn't have had. We couldn't have scripted it better if we designed it from the get-go.
A phenomenal performance from Woolridge and Huxtable, getting their 25 points, while in second position was Visser and Badenhorst, also from Ford Racing Ford. Kockenberger finished in third place from Koch & Sons Toyota. Catching up with 2013 Dakar competitors Johan van Staden and Mike Lawrenson, who've decided to move to the production vehicle category to improve their chances going forward.
Yeah, we decided when we came back from a Dakar to not run the specials anymore. The reason being is it's called in Afrikaans, die gogga het jou gebyt. So yeah, the skills and the discipline in driving a SP has really taken a liking on that, and I said to Mike that to build skills in it to be able to go back to the Dakar, which is our full intention. We need to start building on those skills, and the best way to do it is on our local playground. And we've opted to go with a Nissan Navara, which is going to be Dakar spec built for us this year. So we'll receive it sometime later in the year, and the reason for being in this SP now is to get skills to be able to run that one properly, and hopefully we'll be back in the Dakar 2015. Our cars in South Africa, standard-wise with maintenance, pairs up quite good. The only changes between F1 spec cars and South African cars, we got a slightly different white book. The cars that side generally are of a superior type of build. The technology used, the experience I have on running long distances. Our cars are not built for long distance driving in South Africa. We got shorter prep races, we replace parts afterwards, where there you have to have something that lasts. You can see the difference in build and weight, structure-wise, frame-wise, and so forth. So it all makes a big difference. And that's just something that got our attention. I said to Mike, it's the best experience I ever had. The most difficult part of the Dakar was the first 6 stages, and we managed to complete all of them without any incidents until the last one, where we crashed actually on a flat salt lake. Any driver that's running our national series has got the skills to go. That's our personal opinion. Simply because of what we know we drive here. We'd never in any life's chance will any one of those guys can be in our race here and be competitive. They're different type of drivers. They cannot run this pace and this speed that we're running at. So I think if you can step down from this pace and speed, you have more control. You'll be able to do good, very well in a Dakar. Whereas a guy coming from there having to pace up, I find it very difficult. We are definitely planning for 2015. We need a longer planning series. You have to be spending time in your local car that you're going to be driving in a Dakar, in South African series, to build up skills, get yourself ready, go to Namibia, do the training in that specific car that's going to be competing in a Dakar. But otherwise you don't feel comfortable. But you have to have a car that you have time behind the seat. It's crucial to its success, because you understand the mechanical noises, you understand the car's stress points and weak points. You can exploit the car's strong points when it's necessary. You can also back down. Where you're driving an unfamiliar car, you have none of those skills. You have to find out by accident.
Moving on to Class D and E. Driving in their 4x4 Mega World Trisim Racing Toyota Hilux was Jason Fenter and Vincent van Alleman. They described the car as the best it's ever been. The pair were well clear of the next best Class D duo of Jack and Sorrel Oosthuizen in their LMC Land Rover. A nice recovery given that their water pump packed up before the start of the race. Having swapped their championship-winning Toyota for a diesel-powered Ford Ranger, Dirk Patter and Chris Claessens were still getting used to their drive, but remained the men to catch in Class E. Johan Horn battled with traction throughout, while the rocky and grass terrain contributed to him not finishing. It was also a tough day out for Douglas Veer, who succumbed to the elements as he failed to finish in his Toyota Hilux in his debut race. It was no surprise as the youngsters from Northwest, Fenter and Van Alleman, finished 6th overall, winning Class D in the process. Confirmation of the Class D and E standings. Venter and Van Alleman finishing ahead of the father and son team of Oosthuizen, while Patta and Claessens were the only finishers in Class E. One of the most promising teams on the circuit is the brother and sister pair of Jacques and Lizelle van Tonder from Unifreight Ford.
My pa was maar voor my betrokke in die wedren van motorsport. En so ek dink ons is reg, ons is maar baie voorberei by die huis en baie tyd in die kar spandeer en saam mekaar 'n bietjie geoefen, maar ek dink ons is reg hiervoor.
Ek dink ons sal 'n goeie span maak. Ons het hard geoefen en ons het 'n regional vir die reis gedoen. So ons is maar 'n bietjie voorberei, maar dis alles 'n experience vir ons hierdie jaar. So ons wil eintlik net by die finishlyn uitkom vir hierdie reis.
The young siblings had a tough morning out in the prologue, and unfortunately for them, they failed to finish. That's after they experienced some minor problems along the way. But fortunately, it was nothing too serious, as they did manage to get out on Saturday.
Die roete was baie lekker. My navigator het baie goed gedoen en my op die pad gehou. En ons het dit baie geniet en toe ongelukkig toe verloor ek my konsentrasie vir 'n sekond en vang met my agterlinkerkant 'n hekpaal en beseer bietjie die agterlyf van ons Ford, maar ons sal hom reg hê vanmôre.
Coming up, more action from the Donaldson Cross Country Championship.
DSTV will keep you glued to the couch this April with sport from across the globe. The top 8 European teams have advanced to the quarter and semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. Find out who will cement their place in the final right here. The exciting world of the IPL hits your screen on the 3rd. 9 teams, 76 games. Join Supersport as we bring you every moment live. Augusta National awaits the world's finest golfers for the year's first major. Can the big names handle the pressure and stick around for 4 days to ultimately don the green jacket? The bond between bike and rider is ready to be tested. Strap yourself in for the ride of your life as the MotoGP season gets underway on the 7th. And fix your eyes to the screen as ESPN brings you baseball's biggest hitters and fastest pitches all month long. So much more sport. DSTV.
Welcome back to the Donaldson Cross Country Championship, and we're on board with young guns Jacques and Lizelle, more members of the famous Van Tonder racing clan, who were courageous enough to take up the challenge of day 2 of the RFS 400. Competing in their debut race, they impressed all with their perseverance, and they managed to achieve their goal.
Uitputting. Die feit dat ons net hier gekom het, is net genade. Ons het regtig gesukkel. Ons het baie teenspoed gehad, maar ons het daar nie uitgekom. So net om klaar te maak is so relief. So ja, dit voel goed.
Ja, ek dink dit is redelik werk in die kar. Die reverse werk nie meer nie, die clutch werk nie meer. My stuurwiel is los. Maar ek weet nie, jy weet nie of jy moet uitswaai vir die klip of vir die dassies nie, want daar's dassies en klippe oral. So ek weet nie wat doen die mense hier nie.
On to Class A, and all eyes were on the KwaZulu-Natal pair of Clint Gibson and Gary Campbell in their dirt sport Porter. The men started from pole, which was a massive achievement given that their race truck broke down en route to Tarleton. They continued from where they left off from the prologue and dominated the field. While Gibson already has a national winner's name, the team was looking for their first triumph together. Reigning champs Evan Hutchison and Donnie Stassen in their motorized racing bat produced arguably the drive of the day, finishing second after starting from 16th, while Lance Trethui and Witchman overcame a malfunctioning clutch throughout the weekend to finish third. Brooks and Gray experienced an overheating gearbox in their Ducatis bat, but otherwise enjoyed a good run. And the father and son pair of Nick and Ryan Harper had trouble in their motorized racing bat, a puncture and persistent misfire slowing down their race. Newcomers Philip de Vries and Johan Viljoen were delighted with their performance in their maiden outing, finishing sixth despite describing the experience as very rough, while Ruthven and Pinar had electrical problems in their Rubicon racing bat. Another Gibson, Glenn, as well as Clint Brook captured an 8th place finish in their dirt sport bat. while driving in a brand new Bat Venom, Quinton and Cully Silvalt had gearbox problems and described the dust on the second loop as almost impossible, but they still reached the flag. Marius and Yolinda Fourie picked up a flat in their PHB Bat, while they also weren't impressed with Hutchison hitting them from behind. Keith de Toy and Luc Poorter had major issues throughout the weekend, with their tyre coming off on both days. Despite it all, they said they had a great time out. It wasn't quite the same for Herman and Vicard Silvalt, who failed to finish the race in their brand new Cobalt Striker. It was the same story for Mobile and Niemand.
We got stuck along the way. We had alternator problems that we couldn't actually fix. We were 8th. We started 8th in class and we had gained 2 positions. So we were going well. We could have done very well, I assume.
Neil Mayer and Joseph Lewis' race ended when they tried to pass Gibson, but hit a rock which broke off the front hub. There were also problems for brothers Daniel and Lozili, who fell out in their Maxxis Tyres Porter. Mark Corbett and Rudy Belzer from Century Property picked up 2 punctures along the way, but otherwise said they enjoyed their car despite being unable to finish. The Ogazi brothers had a weekend to forget, gearbox failures forcing them to retire during Loop 1. There were no such problems for Gibson and Campbell, who led from start to finish to capture their first national championship win together, doing so in the Dirt Sport Porter.
It's points and it's confidence, it boosts the whole team. So, I mean, the guys are going to work harder and obviously prep the car even better if they can. You know, that's half the race is won in the workshop, like they say, which is, I believe, even a little bit more. But yeah, no, we've inspired. We've got a lot of confidence now. So we'll go to the next race, obviously, hopefully with a good team and a good car.
The pair collecting the 25 points, while Hutchison and Stassen's superb drive saw them finish second, with Trethui and Wichman coming in third. Let's catch up with Herman Silvalt, who's showing off his new toy.
Our car from last year and this year is quite a bit of a weight difference. Our car last year was a bit heavy. We're also using the same type of motor, but a different variation of it with a stroker motor like all the other Oaks are using now. More torque, there's definitely more torque, there's more power out of the corners. And then the main thing is traction to get that power on the ground. So we really thought of it. We've made some changes to the rear swing arms. We've changed the angles on the shock absorbers. We've changed the shocks. There's a little bit of homework on that, and Vichard actually helped me quite a lot with that, looking after the mathematical side of the shocks. And there is really an advantage with these type of shocks. And well, that's my opinion in the last 2 days of it. And well, so far so good. The handling in the corners make it actually a little bit easier. I must be honest. This car, there's less fight in it to get it around the tight corner. It feels much better in the tight stuff. We also opted for smaller front wheels than the other cars. So far it works for us, and everything is lighter in the front. The direction change of the car is quicker. That's what it feel like. So I think we're on the right path. The professionalism of the South African off-road races it's become more difficult to win. So you need to be on the ball 100% with the right equipment, and I think that is what we've tried, and I think we have achieved quite a lot of what we thought we would achieve.
The weekend's not just about the racing, it's also about showcasing the Donaldson Cross Country Championship.
This was on a completely different level. It was incredible. Let's go. I want to go again. Are we going again? ek kan dit nou maar stryd sê, lekker. Dit is regtig waar, dis iets heeltemal anders. Dit is iets om aan gewoon te raak, maar dit is baie lekker. Dis baie lekker.
Man, what an experience. Really amazing experience. I've driven lots of cars on track, and from karting to 2 weeks ago GTR around Kyalami, but this is a different experience.
Moving to Class P, and Swaziland driver John Thompson and Maurice Mutton pulled off a surprise win, and there's Zarko Magnum. Reigning champions Colin Matthews and Alan Smith experienced some trouble in their Century Property CR3, even losing their brakes at one stage. Their fortunes improved in Loop 2. While they tested the front runners of Thomas and Zamatin, they also came under threat late in the race by the ace-car of Jeremy Woods and Chris Davies. The brothers-in-law from Superpave put up a good fight to finish third. Fourth was another Zarko, this time driven by the father and daughter team of Kutsia and Sandra Lavaskakni. They didn't have things all their own way.
Brake caliper broke off. Check. So now we blocked the brake line and we're going to try and continue.
Keith Makanete and Peter Glutwa handled their Zarko well, the pair finishing a respectable fifth. Nicholas Gosler and Andrew Massey from Men's Health went on to finish just behind them in sixth spot. John Telford and Jaco Swart, well, it wasn't a great day for them. They were unable to finish. And it was the same story for veteran Ernest Corbett and his co-driver Stefan Engelbrecht from Century Property Racing. A great day out for Thompson and Zamatin, who claimed the win, while Matthews and Smith and Wood and Davies rounded off the podium. Raced in conjunction with the RFS 400 is the Northern Region's championship race.
Yeah, no, the pressure is on from this race onwards, because the last race we haven't been too many cars, but it was a very nice race in Stella, and we won, and we got some good points behind us. So let's see what the rest is now bringing to us. This is a very hard race, so we must just keep it together and come and finish.
Wel, laas jaar het ons maar gesukkel. Ons glo die kar is nou reg, hy's uitgesort, ons wil stoot. Ons het nou druk op ons eerste klaar gemaak om Stella, so ons moet nou hier so kan.
Ek dink dit gaan 'n bietjie lekker wees. Die bietjie reën gisterand gaan 'n bietjie help vir vandag se stof en so aan. Nee, dit gaan 'n lekker reisies wees. Ons gaan net rustig vat. Ons is nie toegelaat om hard te gaan vandag nie, so ons gaan net rustig gaan en so aan.
I think our chances are reasonable. I haven't driven for about a year, so it's going to be a learning curve all over again. But I have the seat time, and I'm looking forward to the experience. Good thing, no dust today. The ground's nice and wet. Just got to watch out for the rocks and the mud holes, I think.
The event is considered a feeding group for the Donaldson Cross Country Championship. The distances are exactly half of the RFS 400, meaning there's only one loop, there's no prologue, and there's no designated service park. But that doesn't mean that the drivers don't take it very seriously. Audrey Roots and Sean van Staden set the fastest time in a KEC bat, but they were penalised for taking a shortcut. The two youngsters started racing last year and had a season of ups and downs, but hope to be far more consistent this time round. Setting the second fastest time was veteran Giel Nel and new navigator Paul Slabbert, but they were excluded on a technical infringement. That meant that newcomer Cobus Fourie inherited the lead due to the others' misfortune. A tough task, given that he has to drive and navigate in his single-seater WPP. First in Class P, the father of Donaldson Cross Country Championship drivers Marius and Yolinda Fourie, Andre and his navigator Leon Skitter. Finishing third overall was Martinez Leroux and Gustav Pinault in a home-built Sandmaster, sporting full-body kit. The first production vehicle through was that of Rob Reed and Bodo Schwegler, who returned after a one-year sabbatical. Third in Class B was the locally built WPP of Peter Wolf-Fumfai, currently the oldest competitor at the Donaldson Cross Country Championship. First in Class Z, Glenn and Kevin Levinson in a well-turned-out Toyota Hilux. The unique-looking Polaris of Rikus Prinsloo and Ludwig Kombrink performing well with the side-by-side category to be introduced in 2014. Rounding off the top 10, Dierwald Hutting and Dup Dupré in their Toyota Hilux. First across the finish, Ritz and Van Staden, but it was all in vain as they incurred a 5-minute penalty for their earlier indiscretion. Honours for the day in the production vehicle category went to Reed and Schwegler in their Dixon Batteries Mitsubishi Pajero.
It's good to be back in the office again. Thoroughly enjoyable day, and I suddenly realized how much we really miss this off-road adventure.
Fantastic. We had a lekker day. It was very rough. No, but very pleased with the result at the end of the day. We'll see how the rest of the season goes, and yeah, looking forward to it. Had a fantastic day. Thanks to the sponsors.
So, final results in the RFS 200, Cobus Fourie finishing on top, followed by Fourie and Skitter, with Ritz and Van Staden rounding off the podium. With Tarleton done and dusted, it's now on to the next event, which is also a new event on the calendar, taking place on the 12th and 13th of April. That's at Riverview Primary at Mullalon. It's the Donaldson Cross Country Championship, and it's race number 2 coming your way. Don't miss the action right here on Supersport, your World of Champions. Inside Donaldson Cross Country, brought to you by Donaldson Filtration Systems, your market leader in filtration solutions.